Keyword transformation 16. Here is the question, and you should write it down on a piece of paper or on your computer, and have a think if you know the answer. And when you've done that, press play on this video. Okay, so hopefully you've done that. Even if you think you have the answer correct already, let's go through it together using my 10-step technique. Memorizing my technique will help you to answer these questions more effectively and more quickly in the future. So, let's have a look at step number 1. Read the example sentence and the sentence with the missing information. She did not buy the car because it was too expensive. She would have bought the car, so expensive. Step number 2. Put a line through the duplicate information in both sentences. She did not buy the car because it was too expensive. She would have bought the car, so expensive. Okay, so I'm going to put a line through the words which are the same in the top sentence and the bottom sentence, and you should do the same. And when you've done that, press play on the video and we'll see which words I put a line through. Okay, so I put a line through she, the car, and expensive. Step number 3. Identify the type of word they give you. It. Is it a noun, a verb, an adjective, or a different type of word? Again, pause this video, write down what type of word you think it is, and when you're ready, press play. Okay, so hopefully you've done that, and I can tell you that the word it is a pronoun, and it's often used as a subject in a sentence. If you don't know much about different types of words, you should definitely revise them. It's a really big help in learning the English language. So, step number 4. Is it, the word it, used in any common collocations, expressions, phrasal verbs, etc.? If you can think of any, pause the video and write them down, and when you're ready, press play. Okay, so it, I thought, was just too common a word. I didn't want to write down any common collocations, expressions, phrasal verbs, but let's move on to step number 5. So, what you need to do now is to try to fill in the gap, using the word it and the information without a line through in the example sentence. So pause the video and try to do that. And when you're ready, press play, and we'll see what words I've written in the gap. Okay, so I wrote the words, if it had not been, in the gap. Don't worry if you've written different words. You can still use the next steps in my technique with your words, or you can do them with the words that I've written here. So, step number 6. If you're not sure about the answer, try creating and asking yourself a question using the information in the sentence that you've completed. So again, pause the video, take a minute, try to think of a question based on the information in the sentence that you've completed, and when you're ready, press play and we'll see what question I've asked myself. Okay, so hopefully you've done that. Now, the question I asked myself is, would she have bought the car if it hadn't been so expensive? And now what I'm going to try and do in step number 7 is to answer this question. And you should do the same. Try to now write down a full answer to your question. And I'm going to do the same here. When you're ready, press play and we'll see what answer I write down. Okay, so hopefully you've done that. Now, would she have bought the car if it hadn't been so expensive? Based on the information that we have here, yes, she would have bought the car if it had not been so expensive. And we can see that the words I'm using in my answer here, if it had not been, are the same as the words I'm using in the gap. And that's quite a positive sign. But let's move on to step number 8. Can we now put a line through all the remaining information in the example sentence if it's duplicated or it has a similar meaning in our sentence. So you can do this for your own sentences, and when you're ready, press play. So I've now put a line through, nothing extra. But I don't think it's that important because the words are kind of similar anyway, which leads me on to step number 9. Is the overall meaning of our sentence the same as the overall meaning of the example sentence? She would have bought the car if it had not been so expensive. She did not buy the car because it was so expensive. Yeah, I think that the overall meaning is pretty much the same. If the car was less expensive, she would have bought it. And step number 10, make sure the words we use match each other. So let's have a look at this. The car, if it, so it is good because it's referring to the car. Had not been is correct. It's past perfect tense. And this is correct in this sentence because what we're doing here is a third conditional. And third conditional is if, had, past participle, and then the subject and would, have, and the past participle. So we have that here just in the other way around. It's referring to a past hypothetical situation, as I say at the bottom, which is what third conditional does. Okay. So I can tell you that the answer we have here is correct. If you have a different answer which you think is correct, you can write to me and ask me to check. If you think you got the answer wrong, don't worry, because we're going to do more examples like this one using my technique. So I'll see you in keyword transformation 17.